Yeah, let's go live.
Shut up. Shut up. All right, we're live now.
Hell yeah. I'm glad that we're
Oh my
able to
god.
do this together.
Is that real?
I don't know.
I'm not going to click on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
But
danger
anyway,
close. Okay, I'm not gonna play that.
welcome back to the podcast. I'm your
Yeah.
host. I'm a host, excuse me.
What's your name?
Nocam.
Nocam? Okay.
Nope.
I'm the host, Amadeus Kyouma. And you gotta say it. I'm not gonna introduce you.
I'm GymBagBob.
Hell yeah. All three of us, gangs back together.
Yeah, just before the
Been a
podcast, we're
while.
talking about hot micing moments, or like, streamers just jacking it out of nowhere. Well, I mean, not out of nowhere for them. They probably already had the browser pulled up and they're like, oh, God, I gotta end this stream.
Yeah. I have other things I need to get to. Yeah.
That's just, I don't know. That's just like one of the things I was surprised that we've never talked about yet is hot micing. Or, someone just, I don't know. It's just so absurd to me.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I would double, triple, quadruple check, especially like if I knew I had viewers that was watching me.
I don't know. People like you get familiar with anything. So like the fact that 40,000 people are watching you, it's just Tuesday, man.
Yeah.
I want to fucking jerk
just
off.
got normalized.
I gotta end my stream. I got shit to do.
I mean, 40 billion fucking people, one person watching me. I feel like, maybe if it was like a smaller stream, like 30 people, I feel like that'd be too personal. If it was like 30,000 people, that would like feel better somehow. Because that's like an audience, it's their fault for being there. But if it's 30 people, then it's like,
you're doing that.
Yeah, you're just like awkwardly doing it in a room with them.
I mean, the other end of this is, like accidentally saying a word that sounds like a different word.
Yeah.
Or intentionally saying one. And the only experience that I believe we've had with that, we've edited out of existence, and it's never going to see the light of day again, for better or worse. What? This is fucking...
I mean, that guy wasn't saying it on accident, but, I mean...
What? Okay, I'll talk to you about this later. I'm just fucking seeing this shit now.
Interesting.
Are you like anarchist? Are you trying to blow shit? What? Okay. Alright, back on topic.
ADHD, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah. So I think instead of talking about all the topics we had pre-planned is we're going to do something different for this episode, the final episode for season 2 of the OPP experience. Yes. We're just going to do a reaction video. Because both Nocam and I, I've seen a lot of TikTok clips and articles and people bitching about a speech that our current vice president gave at Europe at the Munich Security Conference.
Europe said it was a big problem, What
that it was
unacceptable. After I heard that, like, I had to hear this. Yeah, he cannot be saying that. He should not be saying that at all.
Freedom of speech. Yeah, we need to arrest this guy because he said some things that hurt my feelings that I disagree with politically, because it's just interesting. Yeah, so I mean, we could either just like go over our bullshit weeks and all the stupid shit that's happened, or we could just like get straight into the reaction, get straight into the milking.
Yeah, let's just get straight into it,
Straight into the milking.
I feel like we've edged people too much this season. We need more action.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to stop edging and start milking people.
Please shut up.
Okay. I will say if there's like a point I want to elaborate on or talk about, I'll let you know that we should pause the video so I can elaborate on my thoughts on what.
Sounds good.
Judd Vance is saying. Judd Vance.
All right, so like Judd for now, you guys will hear the audio. yeah, next season I'm gonna implement an actual view, so like you guys can see what we're reacting to. And since that's
Yeah.
turns out that it's a bigger part of the podcast than I thought it would be. An actual like a lot of it is like seeing stuff, so we posted it to the Discord. But you know, yeah. So I'm gonna add some stuff to season 3. It'll be good.
Yeah. You guys listening on like a bus or a train or whatever the fuck, you guys are getting the audio experience anyway, so you don't need pictures.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
just keep up. You'll be fine. But yeah, without further ado, Judd Vance talking at Munich.
Thanks to all the gathered delegates and luminaries and
Bro. Dude, I can hear it like just echoing on your end horribly.
Jeez. How did we not hear this before we went live and we started playing it? How did
I mean, I've been
this
hearing
not come up?
the videos in the background, but I didn't hear the. I mean, I suppose I did. I did, but I didn't address it. I was hoping that something would happen.
What were you hoping? Okay, the only solution I can think is that I put on a fucking headset.
Keep Molly out of it.
You could go to another room and put on your headset. I'm sorry. What? Fucking okay. Sorry, folks. We have technical. Where's my fucking aux cord? Dude, what? This is like the most unprepared fucking.
Well, I mean, if you had an aux splitter, did I ask you to get like forever ago?
I did get one. You know what the issue is? Is that they don't really make one. Okay, you've seen my PC.
Yeah.
You know it's got 2 different audio aux ports, the 3.5 millimeter jacks, whatever. There's 2 of those out to a female and audio connection piece thing. I would have to get a splitter that splits into the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack as well as USB A.
Oh yeah,
And they do
because
not
of your
exist. I cannot.
very specific headset.
Yeah, that I got for GymBagBob. It just doesn't.
Yeah, it's
Maybe I'm just fucking stupid and I can't find that specific one.
no, that's
But
just ass.
it's
I've never like it needs USB for audio or like the USBs for.
her headset require it's a USB A plugin
So why need a USB and a aux at the same time? Well,
because you can't. That wouldn't. Here, 1 second. Here, I just gotta. Okay. Hello.
yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Wait, shit. I gotta change Discord settings. Sorry, folks. You guys get the audio experience. Hello.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes. Yeah.
Hello. Why is it now not fucking working? That doesn't make sense.
Nice.
Hello. Jesus fucking Christ.
What?
Hello.
What?
Holy shit. Okay, now I can fucking
Okay.
hear you. Okay. I will discuss with you why it won't happen, or I can troubleshoot with you why I don't think it's possible. Because you can't select like 2 different output devices on the PC for the audio to go to. At least I don't think you can. So it has to be one source that would feed into 2 different audio ends, which would require the splitter, but they don't make a splitter like that.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying like that's a stupid design for a headset if you need
It
2.
is.
Like why can't one
Yeah.
why can't it function like one without the other, It's a universal serial bus for a reason. And it's an aux cord for a reason, but whatever. You know what? Let's just get to the meat and potatoes.
I don't know, USB A. Yeah, we'll watch this shit. Tell me if there's still feedback that you can hear.
media professionals, and thanks especially
Audio's
to the
good.
hosts of the Munich Security Conference for being able to put on such an incredible event. We're, of course, thrilled to be here. We're happy to be here. And, one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is, of course, our shared values. And, it's great to be back in Germany. As you heard earlier, I was here last year as United States Senator. I saw Foreign Secretary David Lammy and joked that both of us last year had different jobs than we have now. But now it's time for all of our countries, for all of us who have been fortunate enough to be given political power by our respective peoples, to use it wisely to improve their lives. And I want to say that, I was fortunate in my time here to spend some time outside the walls of this conference over the last 24 hours. And I've been so impressed by the hospitality of the people, even of course, as they're reeling from yesterday's horrendous attack. And the first time I was ever in Munich was with my wife, actually, who's here with me today, on a personal trip. And I've always loved the city of Munich.
Sorry, I just wanted to say that he stuttered, so he lost aura.
I've always loved its people. And I just want to say that we're very moved, and our thoughts and prayers are with Munich and everybody affected by the evil inflicted on this beautiful community. We're thinking about you, we're praying for you, and we will certainly be rooting for you in the days and weeks to come. Now,
oh, now they're happy with him.
Yeah, they're starting off friendly.
I hope that's not the last bit of applause that I get. But
foreshadowing.
We gather at this conference, of course, to discuss security. And normally, we mean threats to our external security. I see many great military leaders gathered here today. But while the Trump administration is very concerned with European security and believes that we can come to a reasonable settlement between Russia and Ukraine, and we also believe that it's important in the coming years for Europe to step up in a big way to provide for its own defense, the threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values shared with the United States of America. Now, I was struck that a former European commissioner went on television recently and sounded delighted that the Romanian government had just annulled an entire election. He warned that if things don't go to plan, the very same thing could happen in Germany too. Now, these cavalier statements are shocking to American ears. For years, we've been told that everything we fund and support is in the name of our shared democratic values. Everything from our Ukraine policy to digital censorship is billed as a defense of democracy. But when we see European courts canceling elections and senior officials threatening to cancel others, we ought to ask whether we're holding ourselves to an appropriately high standard. And I say ourselves because I fundamentally believe that we are on the same team. We must do more than talk about democratic values, we must live them. Now, within living memory of many of you in this room, the Cold War positioned defenders of democracy against much more tyrannical forces on this continent. And consider the side in that fight that censored dissidents, that closed churches, that canceled elections. Were they the good guys? Certainly not. And thank God they lost the Cold War. They lost because they neither valued nor respected all of the extraordinary blessings of liberty. The freedom to surprise, to make mistakes, to invent, to build. As it turns out, you can't mandate innovation or creativity, just as you can't force people what to think, what to feel, or what to believe. And we believe those things are certainly connected. And unfortunately, when I look at Europe today, it's sometimes not so clear what happened to some of the Cold War's winners. I look to Brussels, where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social
lost 9 points.
media during times of civil unrest, the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action.
That's kind of insane.
I mean, that's cringe, but like, yeah, I've literally seen like videos or like it's just the videos of like this guy like recording like, oh, because of your recent post on Facebook, we're gonna have to place you under arrest.
Jesus fucking Christ. Holy shit. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I kind of, I guess I'm gonna agree with him so far that like if we're paying for democracy, we're defending democracy and the ideas, then what the fuck are you guys doing? What is this shit?
We're
I
not
mean, we
getting
have our
what
own
we pay
issues,
for.
yeah, if like you guys are supposed to be the shining example of how democracy can function, like what the fuck are you doing? I don't
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I
So far,
obviously like if it's a terrorist like threat or some shit, that needs to be addressed. But like if it's like just like
yeah,
views or something not as intense, then I feel like
it should just people should just be able to make fun of you if you say online, "I hate women."
yeah,
I think you should be able to say that. I just think you're dumb. Well,
should be able to clown your
yeah,
ass.
more than likely. Yeah, yeah. But okay, I haven't heard anything that's like super. Whoa, you crossed the line,
Yeah.
buddy. But okay, I'm not European, so
I
fuck your
mean,
lines.
I don't know. What this is like this is about a quarter way through.
No applause yet.
We'll get there.
I look to Sweden, where 2 weeks ago the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Koran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder. And as the judge in his case chillingly noted, Sweden's laws to supposedly protect free expression do not, in fact, grant, and I'm quoting, a free pass to do or say anything without risking offending the group that holds that belief. And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own. And after British law enforcement spotted him and demanded to know what he was praying for, Adam replied simply, it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before. Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking the government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion
That's
facility.
insane.
Yeah, I mean, I was reading some articles that like there's more context. I know on a TikTok comment I saw
Yeah.
that like he had a restraining order against the place. So I haven't.
Right. I mean, yeah,
researched, like,
I
every
feel like a
fucking
lot of
chapter,
this
but
is also the context. I didn't know the context of that, but I mean, he's saying that there's an overall law that silent prayer is a form of protest, which I guess, that also needs to be source checked. But
well, the buffer zone thing, from what I've
yeah,
seen, is true. Where like there are buffer zone laws, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's a true thing, where like you're not allowed to do anything that could influence a person's decision. I think that's stupid.
I think
I think
I
that's
think there
really
should be
stupid, but
maybe like some buffer zone, at least like at least that adds like a safe entrance. Because why have a government
well, yeah,
funded
I think you should have a safe
program if
entrance.
people aren't gonna feel comfortable using it? But
I
but
think, yeah,
also
you should
like
like have
allow
a
people
safe
to
entrance.
protest. But
Yeah, I mean, how far away was this guy supposedly doing just his prayer?
unless he was like silently
Like,
praying, but like can put like in the middle of the doors.
yeah, otherwise, like, what
I'm
the fuck
not
is the issue?
moving. I'm praying.
Yeah, that's got to be such a weird feeling. Like you're standing there in front of all those people, and you know that everything you say is just like they didn't expect to hear this. I'm just pissing them
Yeah.
off. Gotta be kind of cool. I've the entire time while watching this, I've been thinking, how would the other possible VP that we could have had, how would he have done in this situation? What would he be saying right now?
Probably,
It's
probably
just
just like the
interesting.
normal nodding along. Well.
Russia is an enemy, and we must stand together. Do not speak to the enemy. We will win.
Yeah, pretty much just
Friends, if
something
we
like that.
stand strong. Something like that. Yeah. Molly, are you listening?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the video so far?
No.
Okay. Well,
All right.
back to you.
He was sentenced to pay thousands of pounds in legal costs to the prosecution. Now,
Pounds.
I wish I could say that this was a fluke, a one-off crazy example of a badly written law being enacted against a single person. But no, this last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law. Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizen suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat. And in the
It's not free
That's
speech, it's
insane,
freedom of
Ethan.
religion, is what he's specifically referencing. But yeah, I agree with both.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think both are. I think both are good. I think you should be able to say like pretty normal things or do normal things without being penalized or criminal or have it be criminalized or.
Right. I mean, or practice or do whatever the fuck you want as
Yeah.
long as it's not hurting anyone.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable.
It's
to
like the
say
bare
that.
minimum of what.
Yeah, of what democracy is. Yeah.
But all right.
interest of comedy, my friends, but also in the interest of truth, I will admit that sometimes the loudest voices for censorship have come not from within Europe, but from within my own country, where the prior administration threatened and bullied social media companies to censor so-called misinformation. Misinformation like, for example, the idea that coronavirus had likely leaked from a laboratory
9 oral points lost.
Stunning.
in China. Our own government encouraged private companies to silence people who dared to utter what turned out to be an obvious truth. So I come here today not just with an observation, but with an offer. And just as the Biden administration seemed desperate to silence people for speaking their minds, so the Trump administration will do precisely the opposite, and I hope that we can work together on that. In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town, and under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer it in the public square, agree or disagree.
Oh, look at those people.
Now,
They're
we're at
so
the point,
mad.
of course, that the situation...
Yeah. Just a few.
Yeah. I mean, there were some claps. It's got to at least be like, okay, I'm getting someone. It's got to be reassuring.
Yeah,
a
probably
little
just
bit.
like
Maybe
the
not.
staunch Christians,
Yeah. The people who believe in free speech, those few people.
Yeah, I mean, I know that, like, I don't know. He's just leaning very much into the religious side of it. Which, I mean, that's his administration's, like, thing, but, it's interesting.
I think you should be able to have freedom of religion, and if our allies aren't really respecting it in the way that he describes it, that is a good thing to call them out for.
Yeah, it is. I'm just
But
saying it's
again,
interesting that, like, it's mostly, his examples are mostly just examples of that. It's just like, falling in line of what his administration is doing. But
Yeah.
Situation.
Yeah.
all right, well, you're hosting now, so you can pause it whenever you want.
Oh.
I had to leave because of the
shit.
fucking audio issues again.
Oh.
Situation has gotten so bad that this December, Romania straight up
9 oral
canceled
points.
the results of a presidential election based on the
Interesting.
flimsy suspicions of an intelligence agency and enormous pressure from its continental neighbors. Now, as I understand it, the argument was that Russian disinformation had infected the Romanian elections. But I'd ask my European friends to have some perspective. You can believe it's wrong for Russia to buy social media advertisements to influence your elections. We certainly do. You can condemn it on the world stage even. But if your democracy can be destroyed with a few $100,000 of digital advertising from a foreign country, then it wasn't very strong to begin with.
Yeah, I mean,
Now, the good news is that I happen to think your democracies are substantially less brittle.
It's like two
What?
people clapping now. It's like it's slowly
Yeah.
thinning the herd.
yeah, people are less and less. I've heard nothing about Romanian election being canceled on the suspicion of like Russian disinformation.
That's actually
That'd be creepy.
insane.
I'd want to look into that
Yeah.
more after this video, but like I can just imagine in our own country if the entire 2016 election was overturned because Russia, they bought the election, Trump's a Putin puppet, that would be insane.
I mean, I think that would be interesting, you know, on in any country on the world stage. Like, yeah, let's not do it right now. You know, it's too much
Too much disinformation
too much
out
liars
there.
out
Let's
there right
cancel.
now. Yeah.
We'll come back once we've curated the source of
You know
information to
All
what we
right,
want.
let me drive just a little longer. All right.
Yeah.
Than many people apparently fear. And I really do believe that allowing our citizens to speak their mind will make them stronger still. Which, of course, brings us back to Munich, where the organizers of this very conference have banned lawmakers representing populist parties on both the left and the right from participating in these conversations. Now, again, we don't have to agree with everything or anything that people say. But when people represent, when political leaders represent an important constituency, it is incumbent upon us to at least participate in dialogue with them. Now, to many of us on the other side of the Atlantic, it looks more and more like old entrenched interests hiding behind ugly Soviet-era words like misinformation and disinformation, who simply don't like the idea that somebody with an alternative viewpoint might express a different opinion or, God forbid, vote a different way or, even worse, win an election. Now, this is a security conference, and I'm sure you all came here prepared to talk about how exactly you intend to increase defense spending over the next few years in line with some new target. And that's great, because as President Trump has made abundantly clear, he believes that our European friends must play a bigger role in the future of this continent. We don't think, you hear this term, burden sharing, but we think it's an important part of being in a shared alliance together that the Europeans step up while America focuses on areas of the world that are in great danger. But let me also ask you, how will you even be...
It's actually really good.
What?
I thought that, you know, I think that's, you know, kind of interesting that he said it like right then and there. Like I think it's good that like he's telling them like straight up like, hey, you know, start
Pay more.
start doing your own shit. We're gonna go deal with our own shit over here. You know, at least he's being like upfront with it. He's not like,
yeah. I think that's good. Yeah. Who gives a fuck? What the fuck are they gonna bitch about? We're your biggest trading partner. Okay.
Yeah.
We're probably their biggest trading partner. If it comes to like economic threatening and tariffs and all that shit, I don't think they're gonna win. I haven't researched any of it, but it's just an American hunch of mine. No, I think it's good. I don't think that like we should completely disband NATO or pull out of it. But I think a better deal, and you know, like bringing attention to the fact that you guys kind of have it easy right now. I think we're gonna up the subscription price a little bit. You're gonna have to give us more money.
either that or just like, you know, start funding it yourselves a little bit more.
Yeah, you know, just maybe chip in.
Yeah, I mean, if you
billion
if you
more.
look at it, you know, that's at least compared to budget, you know, the U.S. even compared to budget, the U.S. is contributing the most.
Oh, easily. I haven't
It's
looked at a fucking figure or graph, but I know it's substantial. And I get that. We're like the biggest economy in the world, so I get that we're gonna pay more or pay the most out of all of them. I get that, and I could be okay with it. Maybe not really, but sure. Um,
That's just interesting though, like that when they talk about the defense that they want for their area, they're like, okay, so what are you guys gonna do to help us next? You know, what are you
yeah,
guys gonna do next for us?
yeah. What are we getting out of this? Like, I guess we have access to European intelligence,
I
European
guess, but we already
training
kind of had that.
opportunities. I mean, yeah, we can hack into all their shit anyway, so
Yeah.
um, we literally taught them everything they know. That is interesting. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, we need something out of this, so give us more money.
Begin to think through the kinds of budgeting questions if we don't know what it is that we're defending in the first place. I've heard a lot already in my conversations, and I've had many, many great conversations with many people gathered here in this room. I've heard a lot about what you need to defend yourselves from, and of course that's important. But what has seemed a little bit less clear to me, and certainly I think to many of the citizens of Europe, is what exactly it is that you're defending yourselves for. What is the positive vision that animates this shared security compact that we all believe is so important? And I believe deeply that there is no security if you are afraid of the voices, the opinions, and the conscience that guide your very own people. Europe faces many challenges, but the crisis this continent faces right now, the crisis I believe we all face together, is one of our own making. If you're running in fear of your own voters, there is nothing America can do for you. Nor, for that matter, is there anything that you can do for the American people who elected me and elected President Trump. You need democratic mandates to accomplish anything of value in the coming years. Have we learned nothing that thin mandates produce unstable results? But there is so much of value that can be accomplished with the kind of democratic mandate that I think will come from being more responsive to the voices of your citizens. If you're going to enjoy competitive economies, if you're going to enjoy affordable energy and secure supply chains, then you need mandates to govern, because you have to make difficult choices to enjoy all of these things. And of course, we know that very well in America. You cannot win a democratic mandate by censoring your opponents or putting them in jail, whether that's the leader of the opposition, a humble Christian praying in her own home, or a journalist trying to report the news. Nor can you win one by disregarding your basic electorate on questions like who gets to be a part of our shared society. And of all the pressing challenges that the nations represented here face, I believe there is nothing more urgent than mass migration. Today, almost 1 in 5 people living in this country moved here from abroad. That is, of course, an all-time high. It's a similar number, by the way, in the United States, also an all-time high. The number of immigrants who entered the EU from non-EU countries doubled between 2021 and 2022 alone, and of course it's gotten much higher since. And we know this situation, it didn't materialize in a vacuum. It's the result of a series of conscious decisions made by politicians all over the continent and others across the world over the span of a decade. We saw the horrors wrought by these decisions yesterday in this very city. And of course, I can't bring it up again without thinking about the terrible victims who had a beautiful winter day in Munich ruined. Our thoughts and prayers are with them and will remain with them. But why did this happen in the first place? It's a terrible story, but it's one we've heard way too many times in Europe and unfortunately too many times in the United States as well. An asylum seeker, often a young man in his mid-20s, already known to police, rams a car into a crowd and shatters a community. How many times must we suffer these appalling setbacks before we change course and take our shared civilization in a new direction? No voter on this continent went to the ballot box to open the floodgates to millions of unvetted immigrants. But you know what they did vote for? In England, they voted for Brexit, and agree or disagree, They voted for it. And more all over Europe, they're voting for political leaders who promise to put an end to out-of-control migration. Now, I happen to agree with a lot of these concerns, but you don't have to agree with me. I just think that people care about their homes, they care about their dreams, they care about their safety and their capacity to provide for themselves and their children. And they're smart. I think this is one of the most important things I've learned in my brief time in politics. Contrary to what you might hear a couple mountains over in Davos, the citizens of all of our nations don't generally think of themselves as educated animals or as interchangeable cogs of a global economy. And it's hardly surprising that they don't want to be shuffled about or relentlessly ignored by their leaders. And it is the business of democracy to adjudicate these
It's
big questions at the ballot box. I believe that dismissing
a very basic point.
Yeah. Well, you're talking to
Hold on
children.
one fucking second, goddamn. Fucking garbage ass
Yeah.
Discord. But yeah,
I don't know. There's 3 minutes left. I'm not hearing anything crazy.
Well, I
am
mean,
crazy? I think this is
he reiterated to world leaders hey, you're ruling over humans, and humans don't to get bossed around too much.
They don't like when you don't listen to them. They don't like when you control their lives too much. They don't like when you don't care about them and just say "fuck you guys."
Is that too crazy? Maybe it is. But
I don't know. I think this is pretty unacceptable.
yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to keep listening.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the last
Yeah.
2-3 minutes.
people
Maybe it really ramps up.
dismissing their concerns, or worse yet, shutting down media, shutting down elections, or shutting people out of the political process protects nothing. In fact, it is the most surefire way to destroy democracy. And speaking up and expressing opinions isn't election interference. Even when people express views outside your own country, and even when those people are very influential. And trust me, I say this with all humor, if American democracy can survive 10 years of Greta Thunberg scolding, you guys
Cringe.
can survive a few
Cringe.
months of Elon Musk. But what German democracy, what no democracy, American, German, or European, will survive is telling millions of voters that their thoughts and concerns, their aspirations, their pleas for relief are invalid or unworthy of even being considered. Democracy rests on the sacred principle that the voice of the people matters. There's no room for firewalls. You either uphold the principle or you don't. Europeans, the people, have a voice. European leaders have a choice. And my strong belief is that we do not need to be afraid of the future. You can embrace what your people tell you, even when it's surprising, even when you don't agree. And if you do so, you can face the future with certainty and with confidence, knowing that the nation stands behind each of you. And that, to me, is the great magic of democracy. It's not in these stone buildings or beautiful hotels. It's not even in the great institutions that we have built together as a shared society. To believe in democracy is to understand that each of our citizens has wisdom and has a voice. And if we refuse to listen to that voice, even our most successful fights will secure very little. As Pope John Paul II, in my view, one of the most extraordinary champions of democracy on this continent or any other, once said, "Do not be afraid." We shouldn't be afraid of our people, even when they express views that disagree with their leadership. Thank you all. Good luck to all of you. God bless you.
Okay. Yeah, that's unacceptable. I think we need to ban America from ever leaving.
Okay, I did come into this video a little late, so I missed the first part of it. But what the fuck? I feel like I was just trying to listen and pay attention, and I feel like he was just saying a whole lot of nothing.
That's what you got? I feel like it's pretty simple to understand that he's just kind of chastising them for some of the dumb shit supposedly that they've been doing or feeling scared about
it feels like he just like dragged it on a lot longer than the point needed to be.
This is politics.
Yeah, that's fair. It just
You're gonna hear them like dumb it down to a third grade level and repeat the same point for 5 minutes, just to make sure that the message gets across.
it just I don't know. It's doesn't help get the message across. It just makes it's just boring.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't understand why people are like having a fit about it.
Um.
'Cause I haven't
Hmm.
seen anything about this at all, so I have no idea.
Well, you're not engaged in politics like at all, which is probably a good thing. Um. Yeah, I think the people in comment sections that I've seen say that this is like terrible, that we're a terrible ally, that Europe hates us. I don't think those are real people. I think they're bots. Just, I think they're fucking French bots designed to inflame American citizens and divide us against each other. I'm guessing Jason shitting his brain out. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have a major issue with this video. I think, or this speech that he gave in Munich. I think most of it can be boiled down to pretty simple. You know, free speech is a thing. Listen to your citizens, even if they say things that you may not agree with. You have a mandate to lead. Um, you know, you talk democracy. Be a good democracy. Fix your shit. I guess. I wonder if they feel like that's what the American people. That's how they got elected. Is that was the message that was told by this country to the winning administration, that we need shit to change. It's gone too far out of control. Whatever the fuck that phrase encompasses. Um, there was the video of Donald Trump talking about it, which I'm sure he's just gonna say that, like, I agree. Yeah. Um, yeah. Um, I don't know. I despise interacting with like media. Well, political media a lot of times because you see people that have like completely fringe and extremist opinions that hurt to like even see, because it's just, I get the feeling that, how do you come to such conclusions? Why are you so stupid? Which I think can be justified in some cases, but like if it's an actual grounded, nuanced opinion where you can see that someone's like not fucking mentally insane, like they're trying to act in good faith. They're just trying to like actually get results or actually fix whatever issues the country is experiencing, as opposed to just like people who, well, they're, it's I forget like what is it? People who embody the straw man fallacy, where everything is like the weakest version of itself. or it's like the most sinister version of itself. Um, Interacting with those types of people is like the worst part about consuming, I guess, mainly political media, because everyone acts like they're so fucking intelligent and absolutely correct. It's like just like the smugness. It's a put off. No one likes it. But like, I don't know. At the end of the day, you're just trying to talk about the best way to fix shit, and if you can do that in like a grounded way, most people enjoy that or are okay with it. Like, I don't know. I don't have an overarching point with all this, but mhm. Um, mm, mm.
Where'd Jason go?
I think he's probably shitting his brains out. Yeah. Um.
The cat has appeared.
Why do you enjoy cats?
Why do I enjoy cats?
Yeah.
They're cute.
You hear that, Ferris? You're apparently a cute kitty. Oh my god,
I used to not like cats.
it's terrible.
All right, I was having
I know.
some issues.
Yeah. Technical difficulties, yeah. Molly hates cats apparently, but
I
it's
hate cats.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I just got the beginning of
Sorry.
that. I wanted to stay, but I couldn't. It sounded like what she said she got was just a whole lot of nothing, is what she said.
Yeah, where he was just kind of like repeat. What was your point?
It was just like he kept saying like he was being redundant, so it's just made it seem like a whole lot of nothing. Like that was 20 minutes long almost.
Yeah, that's how speeches, they're pretty. He's not given the fucking Gettysburg Address, right? They don't. I don't know. It's like common. This is how they talk. Because if like you're a political leader and you're like too short and sweet and succinct, like how do you boil down his whole message without it? If you're just trying to be like as blunt as possible. You guys are doing shit we don't like. You're not embodying the spirit of democracy. We know our government, past 4 years, sucked ass in that regard. But we're here to fix that shit, so we expect your attitude to be in line with ours.
Yeah, just say it exactly like that. Just be blunt about it.
Then I should be the vice president of the United States.
No, because it was just the whole thing with like talking about religion and like.
I mean, that was there to expand his points, though. Same with like all the anecdotes. They're there just to like really bring home like, oh, so this really is an issue. Because he could just like blankly say like, these are some issues and you guys got to fix them. Or he could say, here's some points to back up the issues that I'm about to bring up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, sometimes you repeat stuff in speeches, but
Doing it with it though.
I mean, yeah, I can agree that like you probably could have shaved off like close to 10 minutes of the speech and it could have still had the same impact. But like,
I feel like we're like, this isn't even.
I'm not bothered.
This isn't
by
even
that.
beating around the bush. Like this is just like a non-problem.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just normal to me. This is how politicians like talk for speeches.
I mean, maybe it was a little too long, but like the main part everyone was concerned about was it was unacceptable.
The actual substance.
It was unacceptable.
That's ridiculous. I don't understand.
I don't understand why people are having this big of a fit about it. It wasn't like, oh my god, how could he say something? It was.
I mean, maybe the biggest part could have been like, we're not getting what we're paying for. American
Well, yeah,
taxpayers
of course
are,
that would,
they want better of Europe.
of course that would offend the Europeans, as in like, yeah, we're investing the bulk of your defense so that you can have a nice, pretty little fucking life in your ivory tower, and this is what you're
Yeah, and
doing.
even then, you know.
It's like buying your son Barbie action figures, and he's just like smashing the heads together. It's like, really? This is what you're fucking doing? You're not like playing make believe with them. You're just
Yeah, it's
fucking.
like buying your daughter like a like a Barbie action figure in like a Barbie dream house, and then she makeshifts like a jail for them because the Barbie, said something they didn't like,
If my kid did that, I'd be kind of concerned.
Future politician.
It's my
It's good.
my kid's either a future politician or they're meant to be the fucking warden of a prison. I don't
That'd be
understand.
badass.
But no, yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, boiling it down to that. I mean, obviously, I see what. Oh, well, you're insulting us, but like, who gives a fuck? You're gonna take the insults, or we just stop funding your defense, and then not our issue. I don't think that's a good idea, but like, we can say that, and then you will fall in line.
I don't know. I seriously did think it was going to be a little more controversial than it was, but no, it's,
I don't know. It's probably just like the side of media that I'm on. I can't tell if it's like there to piss me off or to challenge me, my political ideas, or if like I'm really confused as to like what the TikTok algorithm thinks of me politically. Because when Trump won, I was getting so many videos about like people fake being mad or sad and then just like bursting out laughing or just like, okay. To put it simply, I got more pro-Trump content than I did we're fucked content. But then some months later, I'm getting like it's just mainstream news websites, which irritates me that I'm getting CNN and fucking CBS, MSNBC. MSNBC, the worst news organization of all time. I hate that. Anything to do with them, I can't take it seriously. They are. I can't say that they're like actual disinformation, but they feel like they are. All right, their whole goal isn't to actually report the news; it's to strawman the fuck out of
that's
everything.
interesting.
And that's what Fox News does, though. All right, they strawman the fuck out of everything. The little bit of reporting I've seen on the Super Bowl show, it was the worst halftime show of all time. Okay, this is Fox Newsworthy. The Super Bowl show, Kendrick Lamar's performance, the worst of all time. Whatever. I'm going off on a tangent, but yeah, I don't know. I think people get people are smug. They freak the fuck out. I think anything to do with this administration, the first wave of content you see is going to be the most, holy shit, he's ruining it all. We're all fucked. And I'm sure there is some of that. But, like, because you're not nuanced with your take, it's hard to take anything you say seriously. You're not grounded. You're clickbaiting, alright? Fucking 2017 clickbait YouTubers, all of you. That's my 2 cents. Are you shitting again? God, dude. I think he is. God damn it. Yeah, this is I don't know. All right, fuck it. Yeah. Let's just go with a CNN article. Vance uses half truths to lecture a European audience well aware of the threat of authoritarian rule. I know this isn't like coming from the head of CNN. They don't all agree with Nick Paton Walsh. But, let's just.
But they published his article.
They published it, so clearly, this is the type of content they put out, so someone at some level agrees with this. It felt like a speech if delivered on X.com, latently short with community notes. Is that a bad thing? The whole point of community notes is that it's more reliable fact-checking. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance took the stage in Munich to eviscerate totalitarianism in Europe, but not in Moscow, especially after its savage invasion of Ukraine. Instead, in Ukraine's allies in the European Union. The enemy within, as he called it, in Europe, is jailing opponents and afraid of its own voters. For the vast majority of the audience, both in Munich and the rest of Europe, this is the tweet where the reader comments take a conspiratorial Red Bull mother's basement barefoot at 3 a.m. turn and you tune out. But while Munich had been hoping to hear on greater detail what the Trump administration's publicly morphing peace plan for Ukraine is, they were battered with a bizarre post-truth litany of culture war complaints in a bid to sow serious doubts about electoral integrity across Europe. So because we didn't hear about the things that we wanted,
Let's.
I mean, okay, yeah, you didn't hear what you wanted to hear, but okay, what about the okay? Let's see
What? All right. So was this whole conference thing just to talk about, like, hey, yeah,
European security.
do
Typically,
do it the way we want you to do it.
I mean, typically from the little I understand when they talk like Munich Security Council, it's always about the existential threats that Europe faces, i.e., other sovereign nations with a bigger pointy stick threatening the security of NATO, so Russia. Specifically, since the invasion in 2022, what is Ukraine and greater Europe's plan against Russia? How is the US going to protect us? Because,
Where it's mothered.
Yeah. So if you step outside that, then okay, sure, it's a curveball. You weren't expecting it. Okay, first up was the suggestion Romania's recently annulled presidential vote was somehow a bid to deny voters their choice. Again, I hate the way they're phrasing it. Like, okay, let me read it on anyway. To be clear, Romania annulled only the first round of a presidential vote. Only the first round of a presidential vote last year, in which a far-right pro-Russian candidate very narrowly won a place in a second round runoff because courts agreed with evidence from Romania's intelligence agencies that there had been significant interference from Russia. Vance was objecting to the rule of law in Romania and pro-Russian sentiment and electoral interference being tackled. So the courts annulled still the first round of a presidential vote because Romanian intelligence and the courts both agreed that this person is Russian asset. Again, maybe he is. I just don't believe that you can say that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they have like some smoking gun type of proof, but there's also the case to be made that maybe he just says shit you don't like. Maybe. I think that's kind of what happened with like our own current president in his first term. Russia, and none of it really turned out to be true. So who knows? Maybe he's a Russian asset in Romania, maybe not. It's really not clear who he was referring to when he said that his European allies were censoring their opponents or putting them in jail. Whether that's the leader of opposition or a humble Christian praying in her own home or a journalist trying to report the news. It sounded like Eastern Germany in the 1950s. To be clear, many in the room would have hailed from the brutal occupation of the former Soviet Union. They didn't need to be lectured on how authoritarianism spouts falsehood to excuse the poor and cruel governance of the minority. That doesn't... Again, this reporter sounds like a European shill. I don't know. Alright, yeah, here's the fucking...
But is that just because you have a bias?
Well, probably, but also I think this guy's paid on some European's bankroll. Here's the famous quote. Germany's defense minister, Boris Pistorius, quickly replied Vance's words were unacceptable. He opposed the impression that Vice President Vance has created that minorities are being suppressed or silenced in our democracy. We know not only against whom we are defending our country, but also for what.
So the people that are outraged were people in attendance?
I mean, yeah, you heard how little clapping there was.
Okay, so that makes more sense. I was thinking it was just random, like, American citizens.
No, this is all, this is all, like, high-level European politicians, military generals. This is...
I know that's what's in the room. I just thought when you were saying that, a lot of people were, like, pissed off about it and stuff.
Well, I've also seen Americans as well.
Okay. I thought it was just like your average American citizens making TikToks like, how dare he say something like this?
How dare you? They might be. I don't know. I guess I haven't seen videos of people doing it, but I've seen comments, which, again, I don't know if those are real. And if they are, you don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
Okay, he cited the case of a man arrested for praying silently near an abortion clinic in the UK. New laws in Britain mean political activity is prohibited within 150 meters of abortion clinics to prevent women from being harassed when seeking medical help. Not quite the same thing. That's still an issue. If he wasn't impeding upon anyone, if he was just doing a silent fucking prayer to himself and it happened to be 149 meters, which, let me convert that to non-retard units. That's 408. That's almost 5 football fields of distance. You can't do a silent prayer within that radius. That's okay. Sure. That's actually fucking ridiculous.
It was.
Close to 5 football fields of a radius that you can't do any sort of. I would completely understand if you're like blocking people or shouting or like doing anything, but if you're just, if that's literally all you're doing and you get arrested for that,
Where
that's
was he?
bad shit. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I guess I'd have to find a fucking article, but
I guess I'm just thinking, like, if I was in a situation and I just saw a random man outside an abortion clinic praying, I'd be a little uncomfortable. But if they're like 500 feet away, that would be kind of. I don't know. I don't think I'd be really like seeing this person in my view and like, oh man, that man's really creeping me out right now. He's just like sitting there praying.
on the day he was asked to leave the area by a community officer who spoke to him for an hour and 40 minutes, but he refused. I don't give a shit about how many people support this idea. If it's a stupid fucking idea, it's still dumb. A new law means buffer zones will come into force outside all abortion clinics in England and Wales at the end of October, prohibiting protests. I mean, this is a BBC article, but prohibiting protests within 150 meters. I can't find an article that says how far the guy was. Okay. So this is independent.co.uk. The British government charged Adam Smith Connor, 51-year-old physiotherapist and an army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Okay, if there's like an actual. So the law in England is anything within 150 meters, and he was 50 meters from the clinic when he was doing a silent prayer. That's
Wait, how far away is 50 meters?
50. That's 164 feet doing a silent prayer. Or just like doing your own thing, not fucking. Like, I know that it's the law, but like the police officers asking him to move, that's still fucking stupid. You're well fucking away from it. That is ridiculous.
But you're not far enough away from it for their liking.
Well, yeah, it's against the law, but just because it's the law doesn't mean that it's gospel, you know? I mean, if you're a good citizen, it does, but you can disagree with laws and think they're fucking stupid.
Yeah, but that doesn't, just because you think a law is stupid doesn't mean that you are above it.
It kind of does, I mean,
No, it doesn't.
it kind of does. In a way, it does. You have to have like the authority to back that up. Like in the case of our president, like there's probably a lot of things he could get away with because the law doesn't apply to him because he thinks it's dumb. I like that mentality when it comes to certain laws. All right, I like it when I agree with it because I'm reasonable. I'm a good judge of character. I'm a good judge of what laws are actually like worthwhile and which ones are completely fucking stupid. I'm a good judge of that. You're supposed to agree with me on that. Do you?
It just sounds like you're trying to make an excuse so you can have your own, like, oh, I think it's stupid, so I'm not gonna care about it.
It depends. Yeah. I think apartments that charge an excessive amount for you to have pets are stupid, so I'm not going to do that. I think, if you go like 5 or 10 over, who's getting hurt, you shouldn't get a ticket. I think majority of drugs, taking in the comfort of your own home, who gives a fuck? Those are, I guess, easy examples. I think murdering someone is bad. I think abusing animals inside your home or outside your home, that's fucked up. I think, yeah, you could be put in jail. I think you should be put in jail for that. Yeah. I think that'd be a reasonable thing to say. Smith Connor had instead been charged with breaching a public space protection order under the Antisocial Behavior Crime and Policing Act 2014, which banned activity including protests, harassment, and vigils. I understand the protests because those can go out of hand. I mean, I still think you should be able to protest just like a distance away.
That's why that law's there now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that part. Harassment, again. The vigils, though. It just depends, but like the fact that 50 meters. I don't know, it's just some fucking group of people that thought 150 sounded better. So who gives a fuck? The law is the law. He was given a 2-year conditional discharge in order to pay more than £9,000 in court costs and victim surcharge. Victim surcharge? What? What? I've never heard that phrasing before. What does that mean? A victim surcharge is an additional fee paid by a convicted criminal to help fund services for crime victims. What?
I have no idea what you just said.
A victim surcharge is an additional fee paid by a convicted criminal to help fund services for crime victims. So the guy who was convicted of standing 50 meters as opposed to 151 meters had to pay a fee that goes to funds that help service crime victims of, is it this particular crime or is it just like a general pool of crime? The surcharge is pooled and distributed through a fund for victims and witnesses. In the UK, the surcharge was first introduced in 2007. In Canada, the surcharge is 30% of any fine imposed. What? The legal system in like almost every country, just like once you get into the nitty gritty of it, it just really fucking sucks. I think ours kind of fucking sucks, but if this is one of the better ones, that's depressing. But also, I guess, lucky me. It's just another way to get more money. I mean, I guess, okay, yeah, governments like taking money from you. The Liberal Democrat said Britain would not take lectures about political freedoms from the acolyte of a president who tried to undermine democracy and now praises Putin. Again, you just don't sound reasonable, so anything you say from here on out doesn't, like, have any merit. British people will see straight through his hypocrisy. The Party Foreign Affairs spokesman Callum Miller, MP, said. The Green Party said the Vice President's use of the summit to lambast allies rather than focus on the real chaos makers of the world was sadly predictable, but no less bizarre and dangerous for that. party's foreign affairs spokeswoman said President Trump's administration seems determined to usher in a new world where old friends are discarded and new friends are made of dangerous autocrats. I think people are just butthurt. The Guardian, J.D. Vance decried as an extremist over attack on UK abortion clinic safe zones. What the fuck? Everything is information. It really is a fucking. I don't know. I didn't live through the Soviet Union, but it feels like Soviet propaganda to call everything dis or misinformation. Alright, the Guardian, stupid. They misspelled labeled. They did it with 2 L's. Back to back.
Alright, we gotta move on. I kind of want to fucking end this shit because I'm not having a great time at the
Yeah,
moment. So
yeah, that's fair. Okay, folks. Well, this was an interesting final episode. We might do more of this type of content in the future once we get some more shit up and running. But yeah, that's season 2 for you.
yeah,
We'll see if another war starts out in February.
it's the last season
And
where you know, the whole time I'm in the occupation I'm in. I think we'll have the last episode of season 3 will probably be in person. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be. That would be. Well,
Wild.
Any last words about this season? About you know?
It was good. I like the theme, like the whole Vice City vibe. You know, especially going on to GTA 6 coming up. And
Yeah, supposedly there's a new
Yeah.
trailer coming out by the end of this month.
I'd like to have like literally, like this was a good like step up from the OG and then the OG, but I would like to fucking
Oh,
you know, completely polish it out. The rest of the extra bullshit difficulties that we've been having, even the new shit that popped up.
yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, folks. I don't know. I thought we did better. I'll enjoy listening back to these episodes once we get them all uploaded to Spotify, and
It's good.
as far as quality, I feel like we probably had less guests on this time around. As far as season 2 goes, more of just us 3, us 2 for most of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I've gotten any better at this personally.
I think we have. We found.
You and I have maybe. Yeah. I think the New Year's resolution is like you'll get better at this the more you do. You know, the more you do something, it's just like with crocheting, you know?
Yeah.
I'm speaking like a politician. I'm going to reiterate my point for the next 10 minutes, and it's very simple. I don't know. I think my downfall probably would be my obsession with politics as of late. All it takes is just like 2 podcasts to send you into a political tizzy, and then it's all your life becomes. So that's been like the majority of the topics that I've been like consuming relevant, up-to-date information about.
Nice.
But you know, you guys don't really fucking enjoy too much, but you know, sucks to suck. I guess hopefully there's more interesting shit non-political that I can find things to talk about. I guess that'd probably
we'd
be
be
a good thing for
hard
me to
pressed
try.
for the next 4 years. Because I feel like,
Oh yeah,
just for the or at least, you know, the last administration just didn't.
they didn't speak up. All right, they kind of had like beta boy energy. They're just like eyes
Plus, it's
down,
easy
eyes on the
for
floor.
literally any media and with this administration to make a sensational article. You know, if Trump's in the
Yeah.
name, ooh. So there's just gonna be,
Ooh.
yeah, a lot more to talk about politically
Great.
in this upcoming years.
Breaking news. Yeah, everything's breaking news. I don't know. Hopefully next time season 3 starts, we can give like a massive update about like the current world affairs. My prediction is that by the next time, maybe midpoint of season 3, the Russia-Ukraine war is over. That's my prediction for this year. I'm saying it right now.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know.
but yeah, fuck it. I guess that's all I got. Molly, how do you feel this season went?
We've been worse. Fucking no.
That's a
What did she say?
I like don't have anything
Oh,
to
what the
say.
hell? She
Okay.
actually said nothing between, because I took my headset off right after you asked.
I mean, not really. There's like no thoughts about like what were some of the better parts, the worst parts, things that like you think you could improve on,
Okay,
things that
well,
you wanna.
whatever.
Is there a prediction at all that you want to make
A
for anything?
prediction?
Yeah, just like anything. No,
No.
nothing.
I predict next season we'll have one less host. Nah, that's a little too harsh.
You can start calling you like a moderator.
Who?
You, Jason, of course.
All right,
You
my
can moderate
joke went
the
over
show.
puny brains. All right.
Oh, I get it now. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh. Fousey 2 reference. Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Whatever.
I think we got to stop this shit right now. Thank you, folks,
Yeah,
for
speak for
joining us
yourself.
on the OPP podcast. It's been a weird fucking train ride for this last episode, but we had to try something new. So, you fucks don't
I
listen.
don't want to hear any soundboards
Okay.
ever again.
Maybe not like any soundboard, but like obnoxious
I think we
soundboard
need to.
sounds.
Okay, well then you add some then.
I will.